Okay, we're live here. What's going on, everybody? Happy Monday night to you and yours. Welcome to another edition of Chips and Dish here on the All About the Birds Network. I, of course, am your host, Chip Keggy, a.k.a. Chip for the Birds, joined by my co-worker and partner in crime, Mr. Don Conaway, a.k.a. Mr. Seaway Science, one of the co-hosts of Drunk on Broad. Don Juan, how you doing, my friend?
What is going on? It's been a while since we've chatted, but yeah, it's
happy summer Sunday evening, with it being August.
Seriously. I mean, we're kind of, hopefully August lasts 67 days for us as we, kind of bridge that gap back into the regular 9 to 5. But no, just, a lot of things happening and just kind of excited to, chat it up and see what's going on.
Yeah, man. Love the comments are already rolling in. Adam checking in. Happy belated birthday to you, Adam. I meant to put it up on the Facebook. Life's been a little crazy. Happy belated. Jason checking in. And I know that Jason has been having some hatred for his Harper tweet that Harper's not doing enough. We're going to chat about some Harper related things. And of course, Matt checking in. Yes, the best part of every Monday. Phillies should be winning in about an hour because the Philadelphia sports teams tend to do well when Chips and Dish is on. As I watch Bryce Harper take a slider outside and not swing at it. So here we go.
As they take on the Washington Nationals AAA squad.
Oh, my God. Yeah. Well, listen. We're going to get into all of that.
Go ahead.
We're going to get into all of that because
it has
been a lot. It has been a lot of moving pieces. And no one in Philadelphia is a part of the movement. No one in Philadelphia is a part of the movement, so we're going to talk about it. Let's just pay the bills real quick. All About the Birds is sponsored by a variety of wonderful sponsors. Here they come real quick, rapid fire at you. Statement games, fun free twist on fantasy sports. Link in the bio. Check it out. OddsJam.com using their Arbitrage Calculator to not use money. Link in the bio. Check it out. AATBirds.com/shop. Got all kinds of designs coming in. We got new designs coming in. So make sure you're checking them out, supporting the podcast. We can only do what we do with your help, so we appreciate you. 99jersey.com, partner with AAT Birds. Use the code AATBirds20 for a 20% discount at checkout. And manscaped.com, your balls will thank you. Use the code AATBirds for a 20% off discount and free shipping at checkout. I really love that line. It's a lot of fun to say.
I mean, I have to share. The first time that I saw one of your commercials, I gotta say, you guys don't see the behind the scenes stuff. They played that having I had no idea what was coming. And I spent 90 seconds literally in tears trying to recover from the information that was being dispensed about the man grooming products.
Oh yeah.
And so
let me tell you, I get these
out.
scripts. I get these scripts and I have to read them. And I have to read them with a straight face. And I read them with a straight face, and it takes me about 2 to 3 takes to do these recordings. And the phrasings that they say, like this one that we've been playing is all about the Olympics, and it's like, you can achieve pubic gold. That's the line. Pubic gold.
Oh my God. It's great. Listen, so something that you can only try to say with a straight face so many times before you're like,
yep.
Yeah, it just kind of is what it is.
And I'll tell you what, they send us a lot of really good products. So I will be doing a raffle in the next couple of weeks just to kind of get some of this excess stuff off. Because you know what? As Jason says, it is pubic gold. And now that we've said that line multiple times on this show, we also got Rich checking in. We're 2 of the raddest, most shaveliest dudes in town. Yeah, it is a great theme line. So yeah, and the physical commercials that I have to make always make me giggle. All right, we are a sports podcast. We're going to do some work. I don't know if any of the other teams are, so I shall give you a choice, Don Juan. You know your 3 choices. What topic would you like to start with, good sir?
Well, since they're on, can we just get the Phillies stuff out of the way?
Let's do it.
Because it's the most mundane nonsense out there.
So what I wrote So what I wrote here is it's the MLB trade deadline. And also, I'm sorry, I apologize. Manny, what's up? Twin! I'll get you back on the show soon, I promise. So do you like the Phillies moves? Did they do enough, or are they doing too much? Take it away, sir. Wait, do you want the specialty spotlight for your opening answer?
I don't need it. We're
too bad. You get it. Go.
I got it. So listen, they had to do something, right? So I'm glad, honestly, that they moved on from the Spencer Howard project, because that was a disaster waiting to happen. They never actually groomed him and managed his progress in any kind of way that was going to give him the trajectory that he was on. He was untouchable in the Phillies farm system for years. We heard about him in Clearwater. We heard about him in Reading. And no more words. Yep. Literally laughable. So for me, the fact that you were able to package him and get viable assets in return, all aboard, man. Seriously. You get Kyle Gibson, you get Ian Kennedy. Those are 2 guys that are going to be better than anything you had.
So here's my thing that's very frustrating. And as Johnny said, prices were starting to rise tremendously. So they started asking for the moon. So Philly was like, all right, here's what we got. Right. Here's what frustrates me. And it ties into the entirety of the Philadelphia Phillies farm system. There's nobody there. The cupboard is bare.
There's nobody there.
There's nobody there. The cupboard's bare. So the gem of the Philadelphia Phillies farm system was Spencer Howard. Now, that doesn't say a lot. That doesn't say. Right. The best thing about Spencer Howard was his pubic gold mustache, right? Besides that, there wasn't much else. Yeah, as Matt says, it's horrible and it was being nice. But here's the thing. So if he's the gem of your farm system and he's supposed to be the best that you have, Kyle Gibson, Ian Kennedy, and Hans Cruz is not enough. No. You know what I mean? I get it. I get it because it does help you right now because, like we're saying, Gibson's first start was really good. It was. And Ian Kennedy is a proven reliever. So these are good things.
He's a guy who made the All-Star. they're better than what you had. If it means that I get to see Vince Velasquez less, great.
We're going to talk about that. Hold on. That's a whole other conversation in a couple minutes.
Okay. But if it means that I get to see that I don't have to see Spencer Howard anymore, great. Like, two guys for me that just like, I don't need to see you anymore.
And that's the thing. So you have these new pieces, which is great. But then in their first series out, you put up an absolute dud. And dud is being generous. By the way, Matt, the Phillies are winning as you predicted. You're welcome. I went live, and within the first couple minutes, the Phillies went live. With a victory, they're ahead. But so it's the Pirates. The Pirates were terrible. And you were batting at one point in the series, 0.65. 0.065.
You could tell me that they are literally going to play a AAA team every series for the rest of the year.
They would still struggle.
Like the people that were frustrating me were the people that kept saying, well, listen, they've got the easiest schedule for the rest of the season. That's great in theory.
Sure.
But you have to actually go out and produce. And they just don't. I can't recall a time during this season that they actually put together a run. Like, I'm thinking like, oh, well, they're great. They're going out to Pittsburgh. They can take 2 or 3. They can make progress.
They need to take 2 of 3.
Meanwhile, the Mets, who are 2.5 games ahead of them, they're basically saying like, hey, Phillies, play a little bit better than 500 and we'll give you the division. Like the Mets, and here's the frustrating part about all this is that the only reason that we are having this conversation is because the rest of the NL East is garbage. Correct. It's just bad.
The Mets got a little better. Yes. But they're still struggling.
I love
the bias.
I love Javi Baez for them.
Yeah, that's a great pickup for them. That gives them a great 1-2 with him and Lindor.
Right.
The Braves aren't doing anything. The Nationals just said screw it and gave up.
Well, I mean, not for nothing, but like the Phillies didn't do that. Why? Like,
and that's the thing. It's because you have these high price guys. Like, look, Matt Scherzer is a stud in this league. Him going to the Dodgers almost solidifies them getting a trip to the World Series.
And I want to talk about that.
The Trey Turner throw-in was a nice addition. But the Dodgers are a great team top to bottom in every which way. The Phillies could win this division, but the problem is that their payroll is so big. So you look at the moves that they made. They got Gibson, they got Kennedy, they got Hans Cruz. They got Brendan Ogle, who is
might as well be Ogleby from the Bad News Bears.
Sure, because we were supposed to get Tyler Anderson, and our farm system was so beaten up that we had people failing physicals, and Freddie Galvis. Freddie freaking Galvis. Look, Freddie Galvis went away from Philadelphia, started putting together a nice little career.
Right. Like, not for nothing.
Why would you come back?
I mean, Freddie Galvis is better than what you had. Like, he's a guy who
let me ask you that. Better where? Because our infield is a very expensive infield, right? Because second base is Gene Segura. You're not sitting him for even a minute, right? You're not. Shortstop is Didi Gregorius because you're paying him so much money. Not because he deserves to be there, but because he's getting paid so much money. Third base is Alec Bohm. First base is Rhys Hoskins. So those positions are locked in place. Now, in a perfect world, you're going to move some pieces around because Torreyes still needs to be on this field. Torreyes has been proving that he's a great utility man. Mm-hmm. Where do you put Freddie Galvis?
I mean, defensively speaking,
yes.
You put him at third because he's a million times better at this point than Alec Bohm. You know, I think.
But then, do you sit Alec Bohm?
What is Alec Bohm really giving you?
He's one of your stud prospects that's going to have this amazing career from your farm system. He's the jewel of one of your farm systems.
But if you're talking about actually putting together some semblance of a run to be able to win this division, which is laughable as it is.
Like, so to you, Freddie Galvis is your saving grace.
He's not your saving. He's not saving anybody's grace. He's basically. I mean, we're lucky if he can say grace before the team meal. But
that's what I'm saying. Like, and Adam's saying it here, right? Bone can go to first when Hoskins has a day off. So what everyone is saying, and in the comments, and I'm looking, right? You know, Matt's saying Bone's not doing anything. What you're saying is that Bone gets sat, and that's not going to happen. Girardi has shown in and out that he's not going to sit his core guys.
I know, but here's the thing, though. It's like we're swapping out one guy's trash for another guy's trash. We're not talking like we're literally swapping out rotten fruit. So we're not talking about like monumental moves that are going to move the needle where you can say, like, no question asked, they'll make up 3.5 games in the next 2 weeks. No, like, we're talking about, like, all right, we're taking our trash off the field, and we got Freddie Galvis from the Orioles, and
in the next 2 weeks, you'll still be 3.5 games back.
Exactly, because to quote, who am I quote? They are who we
the record says they are.
Like we know that we cannot get our hopes up on this team because this team has done nothing to show anybody that they can consistently be productive enough. And let's be honest. I'm one who says, like, I want Red October more than anything for this team, right?
But and on paper, and that's going to be a common theme. On paper, this team could have done it.
Right, but what do you need in October? You need pitching and you need defense. And this team sucks at both. They are terrible at both.
Yes, they are.
So I know it's fool's gold.
I'm tired of being sold this fake bill of goods.
Here's the other thing, though, is that there is no light. Like, there's nobody in the farm system that we're looking that's a saving grace. There's nobody they've got a ton of high priced guys. So in my mind, I'm like, well, forget about it. Like, go get. Like, that's why I was kind of all in, because I'm like, go get whoever you got to get. Like, go spend somebody else's money. I'm not worried about it.
Go over the luxury tax. Yeah.
Right. Go over the luxury tax. Get whoever you got to get and make a run. I know that you can't, like, in my heart, like, I watch enough baseball to know that you can't compete with the Padres. I know you can't compete with the Giants.
No.
I know you can't compete with the Dodgers. I know that. But I still want to see.
My question is that if you win the division right now, is that good enough? And I know Jason said from Jump Street that this team was winning the division. You and I both sat here saying that this team can win the division. The bullpen got better. Now we've seen that is the results are in. That was a lie. This bullpen is actually worse.
You are not the father.
You are not the Phillies bullpen. Turns out that this bullpen is somehow worse than a historically bad bullpen from last year. They are on pace to shatter their blown saves record. They're on pace. The Phillies team is on pace to shatter the errors in a season record. I mean, this is a bad baseball team. So you look at this team and you go, okay, what could make it better? And you start looking at starting pitching, and I'm really glad that Adam put this in here. Hamels could fill a starting spot. For what? So he fills a starting spot. Ranger Suarez fills a starting spot. But let me ask you this. Tonight, Ranger Suarez looked really good.
Yeah, he did.
He was pulled after 33 pitches. You're making it another bullpen game, and our bullpen's a joke.
And that's the thing that drives
You put in
me
Hector
nuts,
Neris in the fourth inning. You put in Hector Neris in the fourth inning.
is that here is another place where you can chalk it up and put it in the column of analytics ruining sports.
Oh, God.
Because you say, oh, well, he hasn't built up his pitch count. I'm sorry, Ranger Suarez. You've been training since February to be a major league pitcher.
You've been coming in. You've been coming in as relief for Spencer Howard.
Correct. It's so frustrating. It's so frustrating, and not for nothing, but like again, like with Hamels.
Yeah.
What do you got? Like, what do you have to lose? He is not, and I'm gonna try to be polite, and I love Cole Hamels for everything he did to bring us that championship. Is he worse than what we're like? Is he like? Are you really getting a worse product than Matt Moore? Like,
no.
Right.
Remember now, Matt Moore is going back to being the long reliever. He no longer has. So your starting rotation right now is Nola, Wheeler, Eflin when he comes back, Ranger Suarez, and Kyle Gibson.
But is having Cole Hamels a bad thing?
No.
Like
I'm fine with it. I have no issue with it. Jason has no issue with it.
To me, it's kind of like, it's a win-win. Like, if you get production out of him, great. If he sucks, well, whoever they were going to throw in there was probably going to suck just as bad.
But if you're relying on him to come in and save this team has so many other problems. Just like Freddie Galvis is not going to save this team. Brendan Ogle is not going to save this team. Spencer Howard, if you listen to his interview in Texas, he was ecstatic to be out of this organization. He even shaved the pubic gold mustache. He was ecstatic to be out of this organization.
It was like he was being interviewed after getting out of a bad relationship.
Yeah.
It was like, oh God, I can't. It's like when you got a buddy that like has like a toxic relationship and you're trying to tell this dude for weeks and weeks and weeks, like, dude, you're done. Like, get out. And then he finally, like, you meet him on Thursday, and you're like, thank God, dude. Like, it was like, and I'm watching that and I'm like, what are we doing wrong?
It's the same thing. I know the answer to this. It's the same thing that we did with Kingery. It was, you hyped him up to an absurd level. You made him to be considered in the eyes of the beholders better than he was before they even did anything on a major league level. Scott Kingery signed an absurd deal before he even took a major league pitch. And now he's sitting here getting all this shit for it. He's sitting here getting all this shit for it, not because they were saying he's a different player than he actually is. He is this great player. No, he's Scott Kingery. They did the same thing with Mickey Moniak. They did the same thing with Spencer Howard. It is the deliberate attempt to tell the fan base that these players are better than they say they are.
Yeah. I mean, nothing you said there was inaccurate. It's a product of and I don't know if it's the Phillies wanting these guys to be better than they are. I don't know if it's the Phillies needing these guys to be productive. And not for nothing, but what does that say about we know, because I know you've talked about it, we've talked about it, but like the substandard product that this organization has had in their farm system and their ineptitude of being able to develop anybody, pitching, hitting, fielding, throwing, anybody. Like, tell me
what you were about to say. What I was going to say is exactly what Matt just said here.
Seriously,
Tell me who they've developed since 2007. Because you can say, oh, Rhys Hoskins. They haven't fully developed him yet.
I mean, listen, if Rhys Hoskins...
He'll be a great DH once he eventually gets traded to the AL.
Or if the NL adopts the DH next year.
Mm-hmm.
But if he's your shiny trophy, what does that say about your trophy case? I mean, that tells me that your trophy case is
much like Jason said, much like Harper's stats, it tells you that your trophy case is quite hollow.
Yeah.
Let's discuss this because I want to have a conversation for Jason's sake. Okay. Jason put out a status yesterday or 2 days ago, I'm not sure which one, which basically said if Bryce Harper was anybody else, he would be absolutely getting crucified by the fan base because he's not carrying the team. He's not doing what he needs to. He's got some nice numbers here and there, but as he's saying here, the numbers are hollow. And it turned into quite the debate about that. There's half of the fan base is like, oh, Bryce Harper should be in the MVP conversation. And then there's half of the fan base that says, well, yeah, Bryce Harper should not be in the MVP conversation.
How do you put a guy in the MVP race when he has like 35 RBIs?
Because he's got all these home runs, and all these home runs were just because there was nobody on base. So the team's really bad, but he's playing outstanding.
But his batting average with runners in scoring position is garbage. It's bad. I mean, listen, you can look at all the statistics you want to, but when you watch the game, his defense has been bad this year. He's misplayed a bunch of balls. He's overthrown cutoff guys.
He also thinks that he's faster than he is. Like he just got chucked out at home a couple minutes ago. He thinks he's faster than he is.
And I don't know if that's a product of him feeling like he's got to do everything that he possibly can because he knows that the team winning that game could rely on him
getting home.
Because I mean, when you're throwing out Travis Jankowski,
oh good
and
Lord.
He's like, come on, the guys that they have thrown out there, I know this will be a trivia thing like 10 years from now. Like, name the guys that played center field, like Travis Jankowski, Mickey Moniak, Odubel,
and at some point, I'm sure Freddie Galvis.
Yeah, what are we really talking about? We're talking that to me shows me how inept
Adam
this
Hazley,
team is. Hazley, thank you. How inept they are. I mean, Hazley was a guy who was a college guy that they picked in the top of the draft. How did you not develop him into something?
Because the Phillies cannot develop anybody. And what it comes down to for me is that Girardi is the and I know Kapler was the scapegoat last year. Girardi is now making poor decision after poor decision.
It's bad. I mean, and he's not managing. No, and you're seeing for me what was more of a product of his environment than of him. I mean, when you have to honestly, Chip, you and I could have managed the Yankees at that point because we watch enough baseball to know, all right, well, the lineup's going to be the same. Starting pitcher, bring in Rivera. Right. There was no thinking about anything for him.
Everyone knew their roles, and they played to their roles. When you have Hector Neris start the season as the closer, and now he's coming in the fourth inning, you don't have a grasp on this team. We're talking about whether or not Brad Miller should be playing more. He's Brad Miller. He's a great bench piece, but he's not a starter. Torreyes should not be playing as much as he is, but he just happens to be consistent.
I mean, he's better than Bum at third.
Bohm is right now playing first base.
Bohm is playing first, and this is the thing that tells me.
You know the dartboard theory? Do you know the dartboard theory?
You're about to tell. Go ahead.
Because it's basically like they've got a lineup card and they're like, all right, we just want to play first base. And they've got a dartboard of people's names and they just go, all right, Gene Segura is playing first base today. All right, we need a starting pitcher. JT Realmuto. Cool. All right, we need a catcher. JT Realmuto is going to catch as well. He's going to pitch and catch to himself.
Oh, my God. It's just.
And then it's the injuries. McCutcheon's on IL. Knapp just got off of an IL with, I think it was paternity. Velasquez should never get off IL. He needs to be put down. God. Hoskins is it's the injuries. It's the mismanagement. It's not having the right pieces to manage this team. If they do somehow manage to win the division, cool, but they're going to get their asses handed to them by the next team that they have to face.
If they have to, let's be honest, they're going to play. They're going to be the worst team. But they'll probably be in the top half of that because they'll have won the division. But even if you're playing the Brewers, if you're playing the Brewers the first round, you're going to get smoked. Why?
Smoked is an understatement.
Because the Brewers have a great rotation, a great bullpen, and they play amazing defense. All the things that you suck at, they do really well. So I know it's fool's gold.
Yes.
But I still want to see.
It's what we have.
Right. And it's making chicken soup out of chicken doo-doo.
And it just so happens that all of these glaring errors happened in the time when the Phillies were the focal piece of the town. Because the Eagles season hadn't started yet. The Sixers were out. So there was that 4 or 5 week span where it was all Phillies, and I know that we got our Philadelphia Union people and we got a great show here on the All About the Birds Network, but the Union isn't a part of the big Philly four. Everybody watched the Phillies these last couple weeks and it was bad.
Yeah. They're getting the target on their back. I think in part, a ton of people were obviously, and I'm not breaking any news here, but a lot of people were bitter about the Sixers and the patience for this team when you had the ability to be able to take over this division and all you had to do was play slightly above 500.
That's it.
And you can't. I think people are forget you, man. That's why I feel like they're on their way to just kind of drifting off into the abyss. They're going to end the season with, they're going to be 1 or 2 games above or below 500.
Somewhere in that 500 range.
It's so frustrating.
Well, speaking of frustrating, let's change topics here.
Let's go.
Free agency started at 5 o'clock today.
Okay.
The Philadelphia 76ers made some draft picks last week, and their big move since 5 o'clock today has been to re-sign Furkan Korkmaz to a 3-year deal. We have today lost Dwight Howard. We are going to lose Danny Green.
Correct.
And the Miami Heat are poised for a run right now.
They are. They're positioning
on top of they're going to get Danny Green to come off the bench. They got Kyle Lowry to bring up the point. They re-signed Jimmy Butler. I mean, what are the Sixers doing besides a whole lot of nothing?
I mean, a lot of the guys that I thought that they'd be in play for have already kind of been taken off the board. I thought Doug McDermott might be a decent piece off the bench. He's gone.
He's gone.
It's
I mean,
do I think
the numbers are so inflated?
And that's the hard thing to look at. I look at what Korkmaz gives you.
Yep.
He's a guy who is going to come off the bench and shoot. When you look at so he signed 3 years, $15 million. Okay, like I'm not mad about that. Like
No.
I'm kind of like he's a guy who's going to be a bench piece. He's going to come off the bench. He's going to shoot. But like, I mean, like Gary Trent Jr. just signed a 3-year, $54 million contract. Like
Alex Caruso, bald-headed Alex Caruso,
I was just
signed with the Chicago Bulls for 4 years and $37 million.
So take and compare those two, right? Would you rather have signed Alex Caruso for committed to him for 4 years for $37 million?
I mean, Doug McDermott didn't deserve a $42 million deal.
Or
Duncan Robinson has got a 5-year, $90 million deal to stay with the Heat.
I mean, like okay.
TJ McConnell, 4 years, $35 million. I love TJ McConnell. I ain't paying him no $35 million.
No, so like the numbers there are like you have to take it with a grain of salt, but look at it and know that you have to get to the seal. You have to get there's a cap floor that these teams have to get to. So for them, they like there's money that they have to spend. So that's why some of these guys on some of these teams, I am not going to blame any of these guys for getting paid because somebody's going to pay them. Somebody's got to pay them. But like Daniel Tice, 4 years, $36 million. I mean, Derrick Rose, for everything that Derrick Rose has done, like Derrick Rose is an aging veteran who's a guy that you would think to acquire at a trade deadline.
Correct.
3 years, $43 million.
The numbers are very inflated. The numbers are exceptionally inflated. And my other problem with it is you look at this team and you go, again, my judge on a team is, did they get better or worse over the course of the offseason? Right now, this team has gotten worse. Losing Dwight Howard is a problem. Losing Dwight Howard is a problem simply because you need someone to spell Joel Embiid for minutes. The fact that Ben Simmons on this team is still on this team is a problem.
Yeah,
I love the thought of a developed Ben Simmons, but since that's not what we have, they got to move him, and nobody is either. They're not making the deal right now, or no one is willing to pay what absurd amount we want for him. We can't move Ben Simmons right now. So Ben Simmons right now is going to start the season with us.
He probably will. He probably.
I don't want him to. I don't want him here.
I get it, but at the same time, he's also a 25-year-old player who is under control for the next 4 years.
But so he can't shoot the ball.
But you can't sell him for 10 cents on the dollar.
But he can't shoot the ball, and he refuses to learn to shoot the ball. I want him gone.
Oh, so
I'm tired of being sold. Hold on, here comes the vein because I feel it. I'm tired of being sold this fake bill of goods. Whether it was Spencer Howard, whether it was Carson Wentz, whether it was Ben Simmons, I'm tired of these guys who are unproven and refuse to step up and try to do better. Look, on draft night, there is a video that was circulating around of Kobe Bryant breaking down Ben Simmons' game. And he said he needs to develop a jump shot. He's going to look back at the end of his career and be upset with himself that he did not develop a jump shot. Oh, so he needs to be in the gym at 5 a.m.? Try 1 a.m. He needs to go in there, lock the door at 1 a.m. and start developing a jump shot. Yeah. He never did. He won't do it. So now here come the cute Instagram videos of him doing. He's in a gym holding a basketball with his shirt off. Now, what he's doing with that is up in the air. I'm done with waiting for players to never develop. You got to try. All right, Vane back in.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Suck it back in. I'm with you. I'm with you on the needing to move on from him.
Yes.
I'm if you're the conductor, I'm the first mate. I'm shoveling the coal to power the train. I'm there. But I'm also like I'm not giving him away for okay. So here I remember hearing, I can't remember if it was Schefter or Woj or somebody hearing an interview with those guys and saying, you don't ever want to be the team that is getting the package of players because it's never going like you want to package Ben Simmons and a bunch of guys and get them, like you want to get the guy, you don't want to get the package. Like, so
I know.
I don't want De'Aaron Fox and 4 picks from the Kings. Like I don't, because that doesn't make me a better team, even though I want him gone.
I disagree. I disagree.
Really?
It does make you a better team because Ben Simmons, look, his numbers in the regular season are one thing. He's going to give you regular season. But when it comes to the postseason and the bright lights and the spotlight, he chickens out and chokes up. I'm done waiting for him to develop into the player that he was advertised to be by everybody, by LSU, by the coaches.
Yeah,
look, he was allowed to settle into this comfort zone under Brett Brown. And now, maybe or maybe not, we don't know, but Doc Rivers is allowing him to stay comfortable and not push him. I told you, here's how Ben Simmons can stay. He is told you must take 15 jump shots a game. If you don't, you're not starting the next game.
I'm fine with that.
That's how you do it.
Yeah.
And if he's not willing to do that, then he's not. I don't care if they're bad jump shots. I need you to start trying.
Here's the problem with Ben Simmons, and this is as simply as it gets. He likes being an NBA superstar.
Yes, he does.
And that's it.
He likes having a Kardashian on speed dial.
He likes the idea of being at the All-Star game, on Saturday night at the All-Star game. He likes the idea of, getting a bottle of tequila from LeBron on his birthday. And
it's very exciting.
Like, he likes the idea of being a superstar. But he will never care about getting better as a player.
Why should he have to? Because he's gotten everything he's ever wanted just being mediocre. He's already gotten the superstar. He's already got the Kardashian. He's already got the bottles from LeBron. He's already gotten everything that he wanted. What incentive is there for him to go out and get better?
The only thing that I will say that might be any kind of incentive is the fact that, if he gets, that whole thing that went down with the ESPYs, he got embarrassed on, and he has been, since the end of the season, radio silent outside of the poolside videos on Instagram. But, they straight up embarrassed him, talking about, using his playoff
bricks to build an orphanage,
to build orphanage. If, and here's where, and this is where I'm 3/4 of the way with you, is that if being embarrassed on national television at an awards thing that was televised all over the world, if that is not enough to motivate you,
it's not
to improve.
It's not enough. And that's it's almost offensive how little he gives a rat's ass about getting better.
Yeah.
But
now I'm 90% of the way there.
Did I talk you up there?
You're swaying me in the right direction. And here's the one,
winners want the ball when the game's on the line.
Correct.
Jimmy McGinty from the replacements. Winners want the ball when the game's on the line.
Here's the thing that hit me the other day and it hit me just like, listen, I went out, I had to replace some of the stuff that was old in the closet. Never did I ever think 3 years ago that the number 11 Eagles jersey and the number 25 Sixers jersey would have been bad investments. Never did I ever think in my wildest dreams 3 years ago where we were sitting with those two, like that did I ever think that purchasing those jerseys, like I'm buying those and I'm thinking, I don't need to touch another jersey for the next decade. Like those two should have been the cornerstones, and it's just.
But he wasn't even that good as a college basketball player.
I know. But
real quick, this is happening on the screen, on my TV screen right now. And I just want to point it out to everybody. I'm going to go full screen on this because I want to know what's going on here. This guy has got a praying mantis on his head.
Holy shit.
It's happening right now.
That's awesome.
He's got a praying mantis on his head.
Science.
Also, Torres is starting off the inning with a chance to, get us back in the lead. Look, I'm ready for the Simmons things to be done with it because I am tired of talking about people that don't want the best out of the team that they're on. They don't want to be a team player, which is why we go into our last conversation. And we have said on both of our shows that we are not going to mention a certain person's name anymore. That we are done talking about a certain person.
Not be named.
He must not be named. The Lord Voldemort
oh my God.
of the Philadelphia Eagles. And yet here we are on another Monday night about to talk about Carson frickin' Wentz, who had an injury from high school that is going to require surgery and a bone to be removed from his foot. I can't even make this crap up anymore.
I can't. I mean, listen, what is there to say? Like I'm kind of at a loss for words as to what to say because I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, like here's another example of them. Like, did they mismanage it? Did they miss it? Did they like?
I mean, look, I don't essentially care. I'm just annoyed. I'm annoyed
between all the stuff that went down with between all the injuries from. He has had injuries at every stop at high school, at North Dakota, with the Eagles, with the Colts, like the broken back, the concussion, is he just a dude who's just born he's just born under
he's very fragile. He's fragile.
Like he's Mr. Glass. He's just I honestly for me, I don't wish him any ill will.
I don't either. He gets it all on his own. I just want to stop talking about him because he's still got a grass. That thing's still on his head. We were still relying on him to go out and play. Just go out and play. And he couldn't make it through
2 days.
The preseason. He couldn't make it through the first week of training camp. It was a non-contact injury.
But honestly, I'm with Matt on this one. Like, who cares?
I get it.
It just kind of like to me, like.
But we're still going to talk about it. What aspect are you talking about with that?
Am I pissed that they're not going to get a first round pick? Like what? They're going to get 2 second-round picks, and they're going to have 2 first-round picks, and it's going to be what it's going to be. And if they use that as part of the, as Howie's way to maneuver a package to pull a guy out of his hat, like, it is what it is. I'm not like, and we were talking about this last week with Watson.
Right. Oh God.
Is like, and and I have to preface this, right? Everything that I'm about to say is taking the on-field stuff for what it is.
Got
it. If anything that comes out, because, and Rich brought this up, was like, what we're hearing, could it be not as bad? Yeah. Could it be worse? It could be worse. Like, we could not know about, like, so if you have the ability to get him, is Hurts's ceiling even going to approach where Watson is? No.
So probably not. Probably not.
Probably not. But like that, like we're talking about all these what if scenarios. Like I think if Howie has the chance to do it, I am not going to be surprised if he does it. I'm not going to be surprised.
I'd be furious though, because here's the thing. As Jason said, you got to give Hurts a chance.
Absolutely.
And you can't look, I would love to isolate just the football stuff away from all the other stuff. Then we do the same thing. If you could isolate Wentz's football stuff away from all of his injuries. Problem is that it is one complete circle. You have to look at everything.
Right.
Deshaun Watson right now is an extreme liability to your team. If you do somehow pick him up, there is no guarantee that he's going to play this season, which means Joe Flacco is your quarterback, which doesn't answer any of your questions. And it still puts you as, is Deshaun Watson going to be allowed to play next season? You have to give Jalen Hurts a chance. You have a first-year coach. You have first-year offensive coordinators, first-year defensive coordinators. You have a young team that has already shown that they are not going to coddle these guys. Well, his arm looked a little weak. I'm not even looking at his arm. I'm looking at his feet. His feet were a mess. We're going to do this with his feet. And right. Jalen Hurts, instead of going, what do you say about my feet? That's really, no, that's not cool. He goes, you know what? I'm going to get better. I'm going to get 1% better each day. I'm going to bring in the tight ends. I'm going to bring in the wide receivers. I'm going to work hard because Joe Flacco ain't taking my job. That's not the way that Carson Wentz looked at it. Carson Wentz, if he starts hearing this chirping that the third string quarterback of the Chicago Bears wants to go play for a coach that he knows, I would cry with laughter if Nick Foles gets traded to the Indianapolis Colts.
Oh, I would love it. I would love it. But I love, like, this whole environment that's happening down there.
Yes.
Is really growing on me in a sense where I love the idea, and I know that we kind of laughed at the rock, paper, scissors stuff when that whole thing came out about them using that as a way to kind of gauge the competition. But now that I look at it in a different light and I'm looking at it and I say, like, well, that is only going to give you the best product possible. Right? Like, I don't care. Correct. Like I love, like, I heard an interview with Dickerson about him and how he's approaching this year. And he's like, I'm trying to get on the field. I'm going into every rep trying to Correct. Be the guy that is on the field when it matters. And
it's a Monday night, Matt. What do you expect, Matt? It's a Monday night. This is how we roll.
That to me is going to be the biggest thing that I look at, because I am kind of I think we're kind of on the same page. Like, I'm kind of going into the season looking at individuals and saying, are you getting better? Like,
right.
I think that this offense has a chance to be productive. Does that translate to wins? I don't know. But do I think that they could possibly, in a game where they could they put up 24 points and lose 31-24?
Yes.
They could.
So I just did the Philadelphia Sports Table podcast show, and we spent a half hour talking about the coaching staff and all the things that the coaching staff are able to bring. And I made it really clear. I said, look, in Philadelphia, we look strictly at wins because we want Super Bowls. If you do that this year, you're dooming yourself to disappointment. You have to look at this team and go, are they better at the end of the season than they were at the start of the season? Because that's player development. We haven't seen that with the last couple of regimes.
Not even from game to game. Like, are you getting better from game to game? And yes, does that translate through progress over the season? Absolutely. But like, I'm looking at like, okay, are there plays, like hypothetically, are there rollout plays where Hurts struggles 1 week and then the next week doesn't? Like, that's the kind of stuff that I'm going to be looking at to say, like, okay, are there times where there's third and short and the run game doesn't work? So in the next game, is it a play action that translates to more third down conversions? That's the kind of stuff that I'm looking at this year, because I'm not going to be hypercritical and say like I am by no means living and dying on wins and losses this year, because
you can't.
There's no point. It's futile.
Because you can't.
Right.
But with this young staff, what you need to see is you have got to see stuff like what you're about to see here. This is just a quick couple-second clip. Watch the way Sirianni works. He's literally a hands-on coach.
Right.
You didn't see that these last couple of years. I'll give you another one, because these have been floating around. Look, I don't know what this drill is necessarily. I'm not sure, but it's something unique. Here it comes. It's something different. Are they avoiding these green balls? They've got brooms. They're slapping at things with baseball gloves, but they're moving. They're engaged. And I think that this is really important when you're looking at,
it's about ball security. It's about but I think the idea is be creative, but put your play, like the thing the consistent thing that I've heard is putting the players in the best position to be successful. And that's where, like, I love the idea of the young development of talent. Guys that they drafted that are going to be put in positions to be productive, guys that they brought in from winning programs like LSU, like Alabama, that have proven track records, that have the ability to be able to make moves. To me, you're starting to build a young culture. As much as this team has older established players, they also have a young group that they are grooming to be able to build to hopefully move forward.
Matt, I know you're on a delay, so I'm not going to tell you, but just understand that Monday nights are good for a reason. So what I like is the accountability and the transparency. So something that happened, Tim McManus reported that Nick Sirianni stopped practice. This was July 30th. Right. Nick Sirianni stopped practice about an hour in and gathered the team together to point out that their performance was not up to snuff. He saw a teaching moment that applies to the season. How do you respond after a slow start? Ryan Kerrigan said the finish to the practice was crisper.
So again, right there, right?
Stop him saying this isn't good enough. this isn't good enough.
Right.
And you fix it.
And listen, let's be 100% transparent. You and I have both been in that spot, right?
Yes.
Sitting in front of a classroom, things aren't going the way that it's not moving in a way that is going to achieve the result that we need, right? So what do? We stop and we say, hey, listen, this is what I've seen over the course of the last 30 minutes. That's not going to get us to achieve our goal.
No.
So what I need to see from you in the next 30 minutes is X. That's what that was. And that speaks.
It's small, very clear goals. It is small, very clear goals.
And I love what you're talking about as far as like it's transparent. Like we saw it. It was honest. It was.
Could you imagine if last year Doug Peterson said, you know what? Carson Wentz is just not doing a good enough job. That thing is alive on his head.
Is it still
Sorry.
on his head?
He knows it's there. He just pointed up at it. That was creepy. Oh, God. So, but can you imagine if Doug Peterson said, you know what? Carson Wentz, he's holding the ball for too long. He's not doing a good enough job. We've got to go in and fix him. Carson Wentz would have walked off the field right then and there. Nick Sirianni said flat out, we got to get Jalen Hurts, his feet in sync with the rest of his body and the rest of the play call.
Right. But
we're
then
not coddling grown athletes. I had Jason on here last week, and we talked about we got to stop coddling grown-ass athletes.
Well, and I remember you guys talking about this last week. This is a product of this generation of athletes being brought up in an environment where they are forever the best player on the team. No one tells them anything. And then they get to this level and people are like, yo, dude, like you're garbage right now.
You got to do the work.
And
hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard.
You ain't wrong, brother. You are not wrong. There's nothing to say. Like you have to want it. If you don't want it, if you're not intrinsically motivated to achieve it, it ain't going to be there.
No.
You could be the talentless guy in the room. Like you could be the best surgeon in the hospital. But if you ain't working at your craft and you ain't putting in the hours, at some point, you're going to be disappointed.
At some point. And again, we can talk about this with Ben Simmons. We can talk about this with any of these softer mental, physical athletes, right? Uh-huh. Some of these softer Philadelphia athletes that mentally are struggling. And that's very different, by the way. When I say softer, I'm not talking about the Simone Biles of the world.
No. Oh, my God,
What she did is something very different. She, for her own safety, said, look, I am not performing at my normal level. And for the good of the team, for the good of the country, for the good of my own mental well-being, I'm going to pull myself out. I have nothing against that. In fact, that takes more bravery than anything else because of the expectations on her. But when you refuse to go into the gym and take a damn jump shot, I got an issue with you.
For her to be able to do that, to have that much self-conviction, to be able to
knowing what she was going to get for it.
Right. She knew she was going to catch so much flack for it that she also had the self-awareness to be like, this is going to possibly prevent all of my teammates from getting a medal.
Correct.
To be able to have that self-conviction and that amount of clarity on that stage, but also be to have the conviction to be like, yo, this is way more important than anything else you guys got going on. Because without that, and I give her a lot of props for like
I give her a ton of props.
Like for her to be able to do that on that stage says everything you know about her character. It just does. Like for me, like I look at that and I'm like, strongest person at the Olympics to be able to take.
It's unreal. It's unreal.
Take that stage and be able to do that.
She knew what she was going to get, the flack that she was going to get for that. She didn't care. She knew what she had to do. This is Manny says, this is what happens when people praise someone to the point that they think they're untouchable. Now they don't know how to handle criticism. Yeah, they become mentally, that praying mantis is still in his head. Yeah, it makes them mentally unable to see that they have an ability to do wrong, or that, you know, if someone tells you every day, you're the greatest teacher that they've ever had, you're the greatest teacher they've ever had, you're the greatest teacher they've ever had, eventually you're going to start being like, man, I am a pretty damn good teacher. Until you come across that kid's like, you're the worst teacher I've ever had. You went, nah, that kid said I was great. You're the problem.
Right.
That's what we had with Ben Simmons. That's what we had with a Carson Wentz. That's what we have with these guys that refuse to push their talent to the next level.
Right. It's the desire to be better. Do you have the desire to improve? Which is where I love where this coaching staff is driving this team in saying, we are trying to get better every day.
It's competition. Competition breeds excellence.
Absolutely.
Think about how I run my classroom. I do the whole Harry Potter classroom thing, and we have competition-based learning. And some kids are like, yeah, I'll compete. And other kids are like, yo, I'm going to win this. I need to win this. I need to find this victory to boost my own self-esteem.
Right. And then but that then right there at that moment implants an intrinsic motivation to want to know what the questions are, want to know what the answers are, want to know, hey, Mr. Kagi, how do I get better at X? What do I need to do? Show me a video. What website can I go on to practice? What, like,
correct.
So if I have to see one more, like the phrase that is getting under my nerves right now is in the lab. I'm going to be in the lab. Like, no.
Is it because you're a science teacher, you don't want to hear the phrase in the lab?
It drives me nuts. Like, it drives me nuts because I'm looking at it and I'm like, dude, like, you're in a gym with a ball. Like, not for nothing, but like, if you really wanted to get better at your game, you know what you should have done? You should have strapped on a set, gone over to Japan, played for Australia, and manned up and took a bunch of jump shots. That would have shown everybody, because it would have put something. Here's the thing for me.
Was he good enough to make the Australian team, honestly?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're going to put him next to Joe Ingles. Like
Joe Ingles is sixth man of the year.
Right. But, I mean,
Ben Simmons was not.
He turned down that roster spot. But at least, like, it's the what have you done for me lately, right? So if he goes over there and puts stuff on tape, listen, I know. Ben. I know. We're only going to talk. We'll talk about it for one minute. Like,
listen, I'm going to be honest. We're reaching a point where we're now trying to just finish because I need the Phillies to win this game while I'm still on the air. So we're stretching this because it's a Monday night in Philadelphia. What happens, Matt, on Monday nights in Philadelphia? Whether it's the Flyers, whether it's the Phillies, the Sixers, hell, if the Eagles have some Monday night games, Monday nights in Philadelphia, when Chips and Dish is on the air, there is an exciting game where a Philadelphia-based sports team wins a game. They were down when I went live.
They are now up 7-3.
Ian Kennedy is in to close this damn thing out.
All right, Chip.
Anyway,
top five snacks. Top five lunch snacks.
All we do is win, win, win on Mondays.
Yeah, Mondays.
Also, your balls will thank you. You know what it is? The Philadelphia fans should thank me for doing this show. Go ahead, Don.
Okay. So, all right. So something that was bugging me right at the end of the trade deadline.
We're talking Phillies. Got it.
Not necessarily Phillies, but just Major League Baseball in general.
Got it.
This Major League deadline, the trade deadline, showed me everything that was wrong with Major League Baseball.
Okay, go.
The fact that the Dodgers were able to add Scherzer and Turner, the fact that you know what? Not for nothing, but like give the Yankees at least credit for like I don't care what it costs. We're gonna go out and buy a bunch of dudes. Like for them to go out and get Rizzo and like.
How about the fact that the Cubs were able to literally give their team away?
The Cubs sell off everything that they have. The Nats sell off everybody they got.
Now Soto is still there. Zimmerman is still there. Strasburg is still there.
Well, he's Juan Solo at this point.
Wow.
But like for me, it's the lightsaber.
That was not a lightsaber. I want to be very clear to all the people that are on this stream right now watching this. That was not a lightsaber sound. That sound was not endorsed by Chips and Dish on the All About the Birds network. That sound is like when a Wookiee needs a cough drop. I am not sure what that sound was exactly.
But for real, everything that's wrong with baseball, the rich get rich and they get richer and richer. And then everybody else just kind of like is the farm system for all the teams that have a ton of money. And at the same time, it also shows me how far away
the Phillies are far away.
The Phillies are like in another galaxy far, far away.
Don't make any more lightsaber sounds. Do not. You're not doing it. Listen, I want to be very clear that my wife walked in. She's over there now. She is now going to be the issue. If the Phillies somehow blow this, it's because she walked into the room. We were doing great.
Oh, my God. Too much. So, I just, oh, God.
Look, and this is something that I discussed on the Philadelphia Sports Table podcast that I was just on.
Go ahead.
And I know that Jason feels the exact same way. There is a difference between being a fan and being a homer and being realistic.
Correct.
Right? Being a fan who is realistic can look at a team and go, here are some weaknesses. This is what this team needs to do to get better. I want them to get better, but these are the things that they have to do. And then there's being the homer that goes, Bryce Harper deserves to be in the MVP conversation this year. No, he does not.
The Eagles are going 11-5
to win the Super Bowl this year. They're going to go 17-0.
Like,
no, they're not.
It's the difference between drinking the Kool-Aid. Like the people that just want, like, I get it. I want them to be good too. I will sit down on Sunday afternoons and root for the Eagles.
And I'll watch.
And I'll take notes and I'll look. And we'll talk about it. But they
walk out of this room.
They are.
My wife needs to leave the room. Hold on. Walk away.
She got the bad juju on.
You did this.
No. Let me make this clear. Everything was fine until he made his Monday night jokes. Just to be clear about this.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Matt.
Oh my God.
Okay. Matt was the one that said it, and then all this started happening. I watched.
Chip, it not for nothing, but I'm a little bit ahead of you. It ain't gonna get better.
All right, so this has been Chips and Dish on the All About the Birds network. We're gonna wrap up before, and I'm gonna keep my streak alive. Want to thank our great sponsors tonight. Statement Games, fun free twist on fantasy sports. Links in the bio. OddsJam.com using the Arbitrage Calculator to not lose money. Link is in the bio. aatbirds.com/shop. Check out all of our new designs. 99jersey.com. Use the code AATBirds20 for a 20% discount checkout. Then you also have manscaped.com. Your balls will thank you. 20% off, free shipping and checkout. This has been the All About the Birds show. Chips and Dish. Don, do you guys going live tomorrow, or are you just going to your off weeks?
Live tomorrow, 8-ish, 8:15, 8-ish. Yeah, so we'll be live. We'll talking all the same kind of stuff. The Spreadshirt shop has the end of August, like the 24th-ish, they have a 20-30% off time. So any of the awesome. If you're looking at any of the the All About the Bird stuff, or if you're looking at any of the we've got some Drunk on Broad merch that we're kind of pushing on. There's a 20% off thing. I want to say like the end of August.
Awesome. Wednesday night is the All About the Birds weekly report. We are joined by special guest Jamal Jackson, former Philadelphia Eagle, on Wednesday night. So he's going to talk all about what a position battle looks like, and camp drama, what all of that looks like.
Cool.
So you make sure you're tuned in for Jamal Jackson on Wednesday night. Thursday is Across the Pitch, our soccer show, or football, as those Europeans call it.
The Union holding it down.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Birds, beers, and BS on Friday, and along with all kinds of crazy other stuff. Make sure you are liking, subscribing, sharing, doing all of that good stuff. 1 out, bottom of the ninth. I got to go off the air. Thank you all for watching tonight. Thank you to Don, my
Absolutely.
teacher partner in crime. I'll see you in just a couple of weeks, my friend.
Absolutely.
And as we end every show here on the All About the Birds Network, we say a nice positive, go Birds. And as we end every show here, Chips and Dish, we're out of beer, so we're out of here. Clink. Enjoy this new Manscaped commercial talking about pubic gold. Yes, honey, pubic gold. Peace out. The Olympics, Euros, baseball, major championships, and concerts are all in this summer. You know what isn't? A wild and hairy bush. Tame your pubes with help from our friends at Manscaped, the leaders in below-the-waist grooming. Their 4th-generation performance package includes the brand new Lawnmower 4.0. If an athlete treats their body like royalty, why not treat your pubes like Olympic gold? Fellas, do right by your balls and join the 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped by going to manscaped.com with the code AATBirds. The world is starting to open, and the Performance Package 4.0 from Manscaped is here to help you get ready. Inside, you'll find their Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, Crop Preserver ball deodorant, Crop Reviver toner, plus 2 free gifts, Performance Boxer Briefs, and the Shed travel bag. Talk about a world-class dismount into a post-quarantine world. This package is the perfect package for your package, and peak performance in whatever sport you desire. The brand new Lawnmower 4.0 is here to take the podium. This 4th-generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to help reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. The Lawnmower 4.0 has a 7,000 RPM motor, a new multi-function on-off switch can engage a travel lock, and gives you the ability to turn the 4000K LED spotlight on and off when needed a more precise shave. Did I mention this trimmer is waterproof too? Michael Phelps is drooling just thinking about the possibilities. This package also comes with the Weed Whacker to chop your worst weeds up top in both your nose and ear. This tool is a lock to take home gold in the biathlon. The Weed Whacker is also waterproof and uses a 9,000 RPM motor-powered 360-degree rotary dual-blade system. This nose and ear hair trimmer provides proprietary skin-safe technology, which helps prevent nicks, snags, and tugs in those delicate holes. After trimming your pubes, show them some sportsmanship with Manscaped's liquid formulations. The Crop Preserver ball deodorant and Crop Reviver ball toner are the key to feeling victorious this year. Manscaped also threw in 2 free gifts in their Performance Package 4.0, the Manscaped Boxers and the Shed Travel Bag. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code AATBirds at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping with the code AATBirds at manscaped.com. Achieve pubic glory this year with Manscaped.